help too. I mean, if it's just things like that, I could probably manage. Good, that's all the influence we need on Boo Boo. Next, let's talk about my part. Before I could even continue, Viday lifted her head from where it was resting on my shoulder. Jason, I'm not using my ability on you, though. Why not? Because I'm afraid I wouldn't be able to resist. Oh, boy. Resist what, exactly? You know, resist turning your love for me all the way up to maximum. Smiling, I gently nudge her head back onto my shoulder. Well, you certainly are quite direct about these things, but anyways, I really do need your help. I let my expression grow serious, my gaze fixed on her. But Mr. Jason, you already have plenty of courage, reason, and resolve. What more could you possibly need from me? I need you to leave me a tether to reality. Before Viday could fully register my words, I pulled her into my arms, pressing my lips against hers. Oh. And speaking of the beautiful Viday... Alright, sliver of hope. Ready. 3 days later, I lay flat inside a treatment pod in the medical bay, giving a small nod to Frida, who was monitoring me in the other side of the camera feed. Glancing to my left, I saw Boo Boo in the neighboring pod. She had just undergone a thoracic nerve transplant, and her complexion looked significantly better than it did a few days ago. Still, I knew that her restored body remained an empty shell without her awakened consciousness. If we couldn't bring her back, all our efforts would be for nothing. We'll be monitoring your condition from here, Jason. If anything goes wrong, we'll put you out immediately. I'm in your hands, then. The pod's machinery buzzed to life, and an overwhelming drowsiness washed over me. As my eyes closed, I prepared to enter Boo Boo's consciousness. Whatever it takes, I will bring her back. The first thing I heard was a muffled groan. Before I could pinpoint its source, a chilling sensation swept across my neck and sent me hurling through the air. The world spun violently until the back of my head slammed into something hard, like stone maybe. The chaotic rotation ended with a brutal jolt. Just before my consciousness slipped away, my vision filled with a sea of red. Amidst it, I glimpsed at the fragile fatigue of a young girl. I jolted upright in the pod, adrenaline finally catching up to me, prompting me to gasp for air. What the heck was that? Confusion, fear, and relief of narrowly escaping death collided in my thoughts, leaving me momentarily disoriented. Adjacent? The treatment room burst open, the manifestations rushed in, surrounding me in a wave of anxious voices. How could this happen? I reached out, cupping Frida's tense, pale face, and shook my head. Calm down, let me just catch my breath first. Alright. Frida took a deep breath, her cheeks flushed as she tried to steady herself. The others fell silent, waiting. First, I need to confirm, how long was I inside Boo Boo's consciousness? About 10 seconds. I see, it seems we've misunderstood something about from the start. Boo Boo hasn't given me any time to save her. Her memory had frozen at the exact moment she was struck down. As Acadia would put it, this is basically soft-locking yourself by saving in a no-win dungeon. Oh no. I've got the data. It looks like the final experience hit her so hard it completely dominated her mind, preventing any recall of earlier events. Matrix quickly relaying the findings from her terminal, her usual verbal tick conspicuously absent. Oh yeah, she didn't say nah there. So there's no way to send me into an earlier point in her memory? Not with our current setup, it seems. Pressing my fingertips against my throbbing temples, I let out a long breath. Even though I had suffered a severe blow inside Boo Boo's subconsciousness, I woke up unharmed. It seemed that my forced objection had been triggered by the perception of death. If that's the case, can we afford a few more attempts? Frida, please reset the system. Wait, adjacent. I turned out to find Marisol, who had somehow taken control of the body she shared with Cherno, now clutching my hand tightly. I won't let you put yourself in danger again. Even when Marisol wasn't in control, I could sense her presence. For her to step forward like this felt more like an attempt to rally everyone else behind her. I know what death feels like. Even once is too much. It's a haunting experience searing into your memory forever. If you had to go through it again and again, I can't imagine what would. Her voice cracked, and the instant she finished, she threw herself into my arms. The room fell silent, her outburst obviously leaving everyone unsettled and hesitant. Okay, Marisol, do you know how many anchor tests I went through to find you? Cherno told me it was about 32. Or 52. Then I promise you I won't go beyond that number. And if I can't take it, if it gets too much, I'll let everyone know. You trust me, right? I've always trusted you, Jason. Aw, there's a Cherno that I know and love. The voice in my arm shifted back into Cherno's softer tone. It seemed Marisol had conceded. Then let's proceed. This time, let's have the consciousness monitor focus on my perspective. I need to see exactly what attacked Boo Boo. Ugh. The moment I re-entered Boo Boo's subconsciousness, I heard the same muffled groan. But this time, I was ready. I pinpointed the sound source and shoved it in the direction without hesitation, pushing Boo Boo out of the harm's way. The instant later, a massive force struck me, sending me flying just like before. The world spun and pain flared at the back of my skull, but this time I was not instantly rejected from Boo Boo's mind. Because there she was, the girl who had lain in a pool of blood before, now sat on the ground, her eyes wide, filled with disbelief. I knew it. As long as she's alive, this space can hold itself together. Relief barely registered before my consciousness snapped like a, severed thread. God damn it. Did anyone get a good look at what it was? I forced myself upright in the treatment pod, rubbing my throbbing temples. In the surveillance room, Frida and the others poured out the playback, examining each frame of her memory. Minutes later, they entered the medical bay, each wearing the same puzzled expression. Something's off, adjacent. What do you mean? The shadow in Boo Boo's memory, it doesn't seem like something that actually exists. Are you saying she was severely injured by something unreal? Under normal circumstances, I feel ridiculous even saying such an absurd question, but today, absurdity seems to be the normal. Frida nodded, handing me a terminal with the recorded footage. It didn't take long for my expression to, be the same as theirs. In the playback, I shoved Boo Boo out of the shadow's path just before it slammed into me, sending me flying. But then, inexplicably, the shadow reappeared in front of her the next instant, swatting her away as well. Even slowed down to a fraction of its original speed, the shadow's movements were too fast to track, its form an indecipherable blur. Intriguing. If she had truly faced such a powerful creature, there's no way she would have survived. So that thing must be... right, it's a construct of her imagination, an exaggerated incarnation of how she perceives her enemy. Let's not forget, she wasn't a manifestation back then. As an ordinary human, enemy must have been completely unbeatable. So now it appears impossibly strong and fast in her mind. That's quite the pickle, Nia. Which means my job is to take down this invincible enemy right before the moment she dies. I couldn't help but chuckle wearily at the absurdity of my own words. Quite the challenge you've left us, Boo Boo, huh? So should we... We're not giving up yet. Ultimately, the idea of invincibility exists only in Boo Boo's imagination. But if I can make Boo Boo believe the enemy is beatable, then it will be, right? But how exactly are you going to make, pull that off? I just need a gun. Exactly. To make things much more beatable, gun. That solves a lot of problems. As a field agent, Boo Boo would have carried a service pistol. She must have tried shooting at the thing. Even if the bullets didn't hurt it, she should still recognize the sound of gunfire. The gun doesn't have to kill the shadow, it just needs to let her know that someone is there to save her. If I fall asleep holding a gun, will I actually dream of holding one? I mean, that's actually a good theory, yeah. I wasn't sure how dreams or the brain worked, but as I opened my eyes inside Boo Boo's consciousness, the cold weight of a pistol in my hand answered that question. Okay, so now we know. If you dream while holding something, you will most likely have that thing in your dream. I feel like I need to test this theory at some point. The same grunt, the same lingered shadow. Without aiming, I raised the gun and fired where memory guided me. Bang, bang, bang. I emptied the magazine in one go, quickly holstering my pistol. I turned and scooped up the stunned Boo Boo, who lay collapsed on the ground. Then, without looking back, I bolted. Only when silence settled behind me do I dare slow down. The underground cavern was treacherous, winding paths riddled with jagged edges and pits that seemed to be linked together in a complex maze. I followed my instincts blindly, and when I finally stopped, I realized I had no idea where I was going. Boo Boo had passed out of my arms long ago, and after her earlier injuries and the Shadow's attack, she was barely holding on. I found a small clearing and gently sat her down, leaning her against me as I sat beside her. Because of the conscious link, I wouldn't stray too far from her. With her unable to speak, my attention drifted to our surroundings. There was no doubt we were far beneath the surface. Compared to the dry, searing heat above, this place was eerily quiet and damp. Shafts of light filtered down from narrow openings high above, but they were far out of reach. Beyond that, darkness closed most of the spaces, and yet scattered glimpses of glowing materials and bioluminescent plants hinted at the cavern's vastness. It was otherworldly. Who would have thought that such a subterranean ecosystem lay hidden beneath Beijing's barren wasteland? As we fled, I noticed signs of human excavation. Boo Boo must have learned something unusual about the underground world and drove her risk venturing here. Lost in thought, I suddenly felt a faint movement beside me. Oh, is she waking up? Ow, that hurt. The instant Boo Boo regained consciousness, a wave of searing pain engulfed her as though every fiber of her body was screaming in agony. Even the simple act of breathing felt like torture. Something seemed lodged in her throat, choking her, and caused her to instinctively cough violently. Is it another gun? It'd be funny if it was another gun. Air finally flooded her lungs, shocking her system like a sudden jolt of electricity, and she jerked upright. Almost instantly, she felt a tug at her, loss of balance, and fell down again. Oddly, what she landed on wasn't cold, hard ground, but something firm and invitingly warm. She fell on top of me, didn't she? Her eyes fluttered open. Oh. Hi. Our eyes met, and her groggy groan turned into a bewildered exclamation. You're Cobalt, the Jason of Himmelforce? Her weak voice carried a hint of confusion, more like a hesitation confirming to herself than an actual question. I met her puzzled gaze with a firm nod. Yep, that's me, Boo Boo. We finally meet. Imagine meeting someone in their brain, like in their consciousness. That's a little, little bit weird. Okay, so we have to use Boo Boo for this mission. Oh yeah, I don't know if I think I did tell you guys last time. I got dual pistol life when she did her rerun. So now I have dual pistol life, which later on we do have to do her personal story. But I got her, and then yeah, I'm kind of working on her a little bit. You know what? Yeah, let's bring her, even though I'm probably not going to use her too much. And then I'm going to bring Angel for the heals. Because Angel's always good for heals. Okay, so we got some enemies, we got that going on. Boo Boo shots consume S energy to increase damage and bounce between targets. Oh, interesting. So her stuff uses skill energy. But then her skill helps her recover it. Interesting. Oh, so she's probably good for like going through like crowds of enemies. That's good to know. Oh, they're all dead. Boo Boo shots consume S energy. Yeah, no, we already read that one. Yeah, I don't know why I thought something else would change. Hold E. Okay, so I'm all fired up right now. You can also move while using. Oh, good. Oh, hey, Jake, how you doing? Yeah, I'm trying to get good. Alright, we have another combat one. Once again, I'm just going to bring life and Angel. By the way, her alts have 0 cost, so you can just spam it. Good to know. Oh, cool, they're fighting each other. Oh, I should have waited and then did that. Did I just get shot from behind? Here. And then what exactly does her ultimate do? Oh damn, her ultimate actually is pretty good. So it gives her like a big buff, it looks like. Oh, I see, but it used up one of like the little... I see how this works. Okay. Okay, I think I'm starting to get to see how she works. So yeah, she seems like a very good like crowd control kind of unit. Alright. Yeah, that's what it seems like it does. It seems like it boosts damage by quite a bit, so it's probably like, yeah, like a crit rate increase. Okay. So that's not bad. Yeah, that's actually not bad. So she's good for crowd control with her skill, and then with her burst, she can basically give herself like a big crit buff, which is nice. So honestly, probably gonna wanna... Yeah, no, I'm definitely gonna want to see if I can get her. So I'll just have to see if I can get enough stuff to pull for her. But what is the great adjacent of Himmelforce doing here? And what's with the handcuffs? Oh yeah, I just noticed that too. I think my face is kind of covering it, but you can kind of see it a little bit if you look next to me. Yeah, no, they're we're handcuffed to them, so. In a dim cavern light, her upper body had draped awkwardly over mine. Her left hand and my right hand were now joined with a pair of handcuffs, the cause of her early tumble onto me when she tried to sit up. Oh, so that's why I thought she was just like, you know, after getting injured, tried to stand up and was like, wait, no, I can't stand, gonna fall back down. Like that kind of thing. I thought it was that kind of thing. I didn't realize it was because, oh no, she just handcuffed me. Unfortunately, I couldn't give her a straightforward answer about the handcuffs. They weren't supposed to exist in her memory. I mean, that's one of the great things about this game. Pretty much all the girls are just beautiful and gorgeous. All in their different ways, too. In truth, they were a manifestation of the link between consciousness, an anchor to keep her from being forcibly ejected by her mind's defense mechanisms. Just take a breath, boo-boo. Let's calm down. Propping myself up on one arm, I gently helped her sit upright. I happened to be nearby on a mission when your distress signal came through. I brought the Himmelforce to you for backup. Then where are the others? We split up, I guess you could say. I got lucky and I found you right after I entered the cave. Oh, okay. She nodded, her expression distant, though a flicker of suspicion crossed her face. Before I could say anything, she suddenly lunged forward, her elbow arcing sharp towards my jaw. Oh. Even if she were in peak condition, her reflexes of strength would fall well short of mine. But in her current state, her strike, though fierce, was easy for me to handle. One sidestep, a palm cupped beneath her elbow, and a calculated twist, and her slight frame went rigid, her movements instantly subdued. Good aim and good reflexes. You learned that in combat training? I let out her arm, sending her off balance. She wobbled precariously, nearly toppling backwards, but this time the handcuffs worked in her favor. She used the tether to brace herself, wrist back up against mine and steady herself. She didn't try to attack me this time. Instead, she just locked her eyes on me with an intense, excruciating gaze. You're not quite like the rumors say. And what exactly do the rumors say about people talking about me? I feel like people are now talking about me. As the leader of Himmel Force and a high-ranking officer, Yaegel, you shouldn't... What? Shouldn't throw myself into dangerous places like this? No, not that. It's just everyone knows you always on the front lines. It's just, I pictured you as but more of a stern, no-nonsense, intimidating type, you know? Typical super elite. Thank you? The fact that she doesn't... Wait, so she doesn't see me that way? So... I don't know whether to take that as a compliment or not. I'm just going to assume to take that as a compliment. She rattled off her thoughts in a single breath and then let out a sheepish chuckle. Looks like even the Geomancer can get things wrong sometimes. Her posture softened and the hardened warrior facade fell away quickly, revealing just a young girl beneath it all. Still, what was with the Geomancer title that she kept giving herself? Mind scooting a bit closer? I need to crouch down and catch my breath. Oh yeah, we're handcuffed, so I guess if she needs to bend down, I need to kind of bend down too. That makes sense. I gestured for her to go ahead, then crouched down beside her against the rock wall. Ah, much better. That thing chased me for a long time. I feel like my bones are about to fall apart. She rubbed her ankles and rolled her neck from side to side, trying to ease the tension. I was about to ask, what exactly was the creature that attacked you? It was the Zaisui. Zaisui. Is that how you say that? Zaisui. It was the Zaisui, the malevolent demon. Zaisui. She said it completely straight-faced, then fell silent as if expecting me to dig deeper. If we're talking about actual demons, I think I've actually seen my fair share. Oh really? So you know about these things. Are you a fellow practitioner? What's your specialty? Talismans or immortal arts? Gun. So I guess... Immortal arts? Because gun. Her barrage of niche terms left me stumped. I raised a hand, signaled her to slow down before she could veer even further off track. Hold on, let's just dial it back. What exactly is this Zushui? Zushui? I think it's how you say it. X-I. Zaishui. I'm just gonna call it Zaishui. What exactly is this Zaishui? Is this some kind of beast, titan, or, like, drone? Zaishui is just Zaishui, not any of those other things. She said it as casually as if describing a common household pet. Alright, then tell me anything you remember about this Zaishui. The more I know, the better I can help figure out, you know, what kind of backup we're gonna need to. Not that any actual backup was coming, but she didn't need to know that. Let's see. It's fast, really fast, and it can see in the dark. I fired at it a few times, but it seemed to dodge every shot I shot at it. So she didn't even know if bullets would hurt it or not. I imagine if it's dodging the bullets, that it's dodging it because it does not want to get hurt. So if something dodges a bullet, it can